Hello and welcome back to Back Corner Comics. So today we're going to be looking at Ralph by Richard Corben, specifically the Dark Horse reprint, kind of remastering of the original comic, as well as a few shorter stories that are included in the hardcover. But I thought it would be really cool to look at the original printing of Ralph, which is kind of the second printing. Ralph was originally printed in a fanzine, and then Richard Corben decided to print the complete story in his own self published kind of format, which is what we have to the right of the hardcover. And yeah, let's get into it. And as soon as you open the hardcover, you're greeted with these amazing end papers, which is kind of like a panel from the comic, which is always good. And if you've been collecting these Corbin hardcovers from Dark Horse, you know that you're getting a lot of extras. And here you have amazing, just kind of parts of the comic, some panels. Here's the back cover to this, which let me. And so here you have like a really great kind of comparison between the two back covers. Here on the left, it's kind of remastered, and then here you have from the original, which is really good. I like the left one a little bit more. The right one's lighter, but you're also getting a lot of these kind of like interesting printing errors, I would say, from the original comic. And what's so cool about this edition is that you actually get a introduction by Hayao Miyazaki, the leader of Studio Ghibli, the head of the studio, as well as probably the most famous director from said studio. He just released a film 2 years ago called The Boy and the Heron, which was very good. Obviously, My Neighbor Totoro and The Wind Rises, various others. And he kind of starts off saying, like, they asked me to do an introduction, and I could kind of just write an introduction, or I could just show you the proposal to acquire the rights to Ralph and that how Miyazaki did. And so here you have that, which is so cool to see, you know. But yeah, this is Ralph proper, and kind of we're not going to talk too much about the other stories, but there is great stories besides Ralph in here that I would like to say is inspired by Curse of the Werewolf, which is a Hammer film. Yeah, these are great. These are amazing. But we're going to talk specifically about Ralph in this video because I just want to show the amazing work that Jose Villarrubias has done. And let's see. So as you can see here, you kind of have a side by side of the original printing to the new one, and you can just see all the work that Jose has done here. It's way sharper. Way sharper? That's a word. That's a sentence. Kind of want to be gentle to this. And here you have another great example. I mean, this panel down here is just wonderful. It's gorgeous, and it's just so much sharper on the left here on the reprint. I'm gonna try to find a few other examples. But yeah, this story kind of focuses on a girl who gets kidnapped by a band of like these ogres. They're kind of like a war species. Corbin, rightfully so, does not kind of go into the backstory too much of this species, which I think is a brilliant kind of idea. Kind of just get into the story and finish it. Um, but her dog basically gets turned into a man dog of sorts. Another comparison between the two. He gets turned into a man dog, and then he goes on this kind of journey to save his master turned lover afterwards, which is kind of weird, but what's a good Corben story without that trademark weirdness going on? Let's see here. Just fantastic work in this reprint. Flick to some other shots here. But it was a blast to pick up this hardcover and read it and re-experience Rowlf in a new way. Try to get like a closer shot of the older one. And we have this here. Very clean. There is a few pages that are kind of muddy a little bit. I don't know if they couldn't get access to the original pages. But regardless, this is a great collection with some really good Corben stories in here that's has not been reprinted in a very long time. Here you have Rowlf kind of imagining what could happen. And yeah, so that's the story of Rowlf. Like I said, there's also really great stories, other good stories within this collection. The Beef of Wolfton, which feels like an EC story, a la Hammer film. It's kind of like a werewolf story, and then you get back here the story of Otog, which is very good. I really like that story. I read it originally in the first printing, which I believe is in Grimwit. I could be wrong. But yeah, and then in the back matter, oh man, the back matter here is so good. You get an afterwards by Jose talking about all the stories in here, where they come from. I don't want to show too much of this stuff because this is definitely a reason to pick it up, just this alone. And we also get to compare the front cover to I guess it's remastered. I'm not too sure. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It looks remastered here. It looks like Jose touched it up. He might not have. But the comparisons here are, I mean, they look way different. It also could be that a lot of these, underground, printings and stuff are kind of choppy in terms of consistency in the print. And this could be one that's just off the mark a little bit. It's a cover from a collection. And something that I initially wasn't too happy about is Corben's trademark kind of storyteller character is here introducing Rowlf, and the collection doesn't have that. And then here's an ending to it. And Rowlf doesn't have that initially, and I was kind of in the hardcover, and I was kind of disappointed. But then if you go in the back here, she's somewhere here. So you do get these two, just not in the front and the back, which I think is unfortunate. But yeah, this is the Rowlf hardcover by Dark Horse, and I want to give a thanks to Jose Villarrubias and the Corben family for making this possible. There's going to be a whole new generation of readers that are going to read Rowlf and read Den and through these amazing hardcovers that are very affordable. And again, thank you so much. I look forward to further releases. And I'm Gerald Varela, and this is Back Corner Comics. Thank you for watching.